Hey guys, this is Hannah and this is Bookworms Talk, and today we're going to talk about This Girl by Colleen Hoover. This video is a little bit sentimental because it's the last one in the series and I'm so attached to these characters, and I love their story, and it hurts in all the best ways and all the worst ways. And Colleen Hoover's writing, like, oh my god, it just blows my mind every time I read a book of hers. It's just... I'm going to explain to you how this book actually isn't, in every way, a companion novel to Slammed. What happens is we have kind of like the current, and then we have the past, and when he's telling the story is the past and the current is the honeymoon. We get to see all these times that he talks with Julia, and we get to see how he reacted with the accident when his parents died, and his relationship with Vaughn, and all these different things. So yes, it is a companion novel in the way that we're retelling what had already happened, but then we move past the honeymoon, and other things happen, and so we get more of their story. It does continue without her writing another novel, and I think that we might have got to her by saying, we want another story, and she just thought of this brilliant way to tell Slammed from those point of view, but still giving us a little bit of what we were asking so much for. And I mean, like, this is my favorite companion quote novel here. I love it. It was better than Point of Retreat for me. Yeah, guys, better than Point of Retreat. So I'm gonna jump right in with everything that happened in this book, and I'm probably gonna be reading verbatim quite a few times, but it's so beautiful. I can't even begin to tell you. So if you don't want any spoilers, you should go away now. Oh, don't miss out on this beautifulness. Go and buy it right now. I loved the freaking cereal debate. Lucky Charms or Rice Krispies? Oh my god, this one part. Oh my god. When Will sees Lakin's Avett Brothers CD, before that he's just like, please don't let her be into Nickelback. I would have to jump out of the car. We understand each other, Will Cooper. We do. And then when he realized that it was the Avett Brothers, he's like, good lord, I've got butterflies. And before I go into this, I'm going to explain to you guys that I am a very big believer in fate and soulmates and all that stuff. I am that person. And so that's my mindset going into these things. He hasn't really so paid attention to the pictures before because they're painful to look at, and then this time he looked and he saw something different. In the background, right over my father's shoulder, you can see the gnome with the red hat from across the street. The same gnome Lake fell on and broke. The gnome is staring right at the camera with a smirk on his face, almost like he's posing. And I'm just like, that voice, that is the universe, if anything, you guys. Like, little things like that. And there's a couple more points, and I'm just gonna go right along with the whole fate idea for a minute here, because despite all the bad that has happened to them, his parents dying and her parents dying, and then her mother having cancer, so that they go to Michigan, they move into that house across the street, she falls on that gnome, and it gives him a reason to talk to her, and then him being her teacher and them waiting, and the fact that they both have brothers the same age that are friends, and all these bad things even. All of these things, I think, are just little ripples in this pond of life, and that it's all meant to happen a certain way. And yes, life does get in their way. To quote Will, life wants you to fight, and it wants to make it your own. I think it happens for a reason. Even the bad things, we might not see it, but that's because it's not over and we don't have the end result yet. So that's my whole idea on fate of this book. And then Lake says on their honeymoon, I want to be your soulmate, even if I don't believe in them. And that is the sweetest sentiment, even though that I do personally believe in soulmates and fate and all of that. Will Cooper questions if he has game. Will, you're fine. I promise. You still have game. Then Will explained to Calder what a date was. Well, sometimes boys take girls on dates to see if they want them to be their girlfriend. So it's like a test, Calder asks, to see if you want Lakin to be your girlfriend. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Kel laughs. You aren't gonna like her. She burps a lot and she's bossy, and she never lets me drink coffee, so she probably won't let you have any either. And she has a really bad taste in music and sings way too loud and leaves her bras all over the house. It's gross. I laugh. Thanks for the warning. You think it's too late to back out now? Kel shakes his head, missing my sarcasm completely. No, she's already dressed, so you have to take her now. I sigh, pretending to be annoyed. Well, it's just a few hours. Hopefully she won't burp a lot or boss me around and steal my coffee and sing really bad music and leave her bra in my car. Or hopefully she will. Come on, this is just great. And like I said in the intro, I'm really going to be reading verbatim quite a couple times, and this is one of those that is just the most brilliant piece of writing, poems of ever. The poem called A Very Long Poem. This poem is very long, so long in fact that your attention span may be stretched to its very limits, but that's okay. It's what's so special about poetry. See, poetry takes time. We live in a time, call it our culture or society, it doesn't matter to me because neither one rhymes. A time where most people don't want to listen. Our throats wait like matchsticks waiting to catch fire, waiting until we can speak. No patience to listen. But this poem is long. It's so long, in fact, that during the time of this poem, you could have done any number of wonderful things. You could have called your father. Call your father. You could be writing a postcard right now. Write a postcard. When was the last time you wrote a postcard? You could be outside. You're probably not too far away from a sunrise or a sunset. Watch the sunrise. Maybe you could have written your own poem, a better poem. You could have played a tune or sung a song. You could have met your neighbor and memorized their name. Memorize the name of your neighbor. You could have drawn a picture or at least colored one in. You could have started a book or finished a prayer. You could have talked to God. Pray. When was the last time you prayed? Really prayed? This is a long poem. So long, in fact, that you've already spent a minute with it. When was the last time you hugged a friend for a minute? Or told them that you love them? Tell your friends you love them. No, I mean it. Tell them. Say I love you. Say you make my life worth living, because that is what friends do. Of all the wonderful things that you could have done during this day, during this very, very long poem, you could have connected. Maybe you are connecting. Maybe we're connecting. See, I believe the only things that really matter in the grand scheme of life are God and people. And if people are made in the image of God, then when you spend time with people, it's never wasted time. And in this very long poem, I'm trying to let a poem do what a poem does. Make things simpler. We don't need poems to make things more complicated. We have each other for that. We need poems to remind ourselves of the things that really matter. To take time, a long time. To be alive for the sake of someone else for a single moment, or for many moments, because we need each other. To hold the hands of a broken person, all you have to do is meet a person, shake their hand, look in their eyes. There you are. We are all broken together. But these shattered pieces of our existence don't have to be a mess. We just have to care enough to hold our tongues sometimes, to sit and listen to a very long poem, a story of life, the joy of a friend and the grief of a friend, to hold, to be held, to be quiet. So pray, write a postcard, call your parents and forgive them and then thank them. Turn off the TV. Create art as best you can. Share as much as possible, especially money. Tell someone about a very long poem you once heard and how afterward it brought you to them. I got chills a little reading that. I think that might be my favorite non-Will slam. That beat the blue sweater for me, and that one was really powerful and had me in tears. And another thing, I loved that they promised not to carve pumpkins with each other, because that's exactly what Lake would do, and I'm really glad that Will made her promise that. There was this one part of the honeymoon that freaking cracked me up like no other, and it's probably one of my favorite little lines in the book. Most guys prefer the ass or the boobs. Will Cooper prefers the neck. No, Will Cooper prefers the whole lake. Will slam, this girl slam that we haven't heard before. So I'm gonna read you a part from this. I dreamt about this girl last night. Wow, this girl. In my dream I was standing on the edge of a cliff, looking down over a vast barren valley below. I wasn't wearing any shoes, and the rocks were crumbling beneath my toes. It would have been so easy to take a step back, to move away from the ledge, away from a certain inevitable life, a life that had somehow become my only option. It had been my life for 2 years, and I accepted that. I had not embraced it, but I had accepted it. It was where I belonged. As much as it didn't appeal to me, as much as I yearned for the rivers and the mountains and the trees, as much as I yearned to hear their songs, to hear their poetry, it was apparent what I yearned for wasn't decided by me. It was decided for me. So, I did the only thing I could do, the only thing I should do. I prepared myself to embrace this life. I sucked it up and took a deep breath. I placed my hands on the edge of the cliff and began to lower myself down onto the rocks protruding from the edge. I burrowed my fingers deep into the crevices and slowly began lowering myself down into the vast barren valley that had become my life. But then this girl, holy hell, this girl. I love that Will really thought about keeping a relationship with her a secret until she graduated. I love that because it's so human of him. But because he had this war with himself, it really showed his character. And even Lake said this. She said because he warred with himself between what was right and what he really wanted, that it did show his character because he still chose what was right. This next part I'm about to tell you, I cried the most hideous tears I think I've cried in this book. Hideous tears. When Will went to the hospital and he thought his entire family was dead. But then he found out that Calder wasn't dead. And it was just like this joy that he had somebody left. Then there was this paragraph that just described Lakin's situation and slammed to a T. This girl, in love with the boy she can't have, grieving the death of her father only to find out she's about to grieve the death of the only adult left in her life. This girl who's being told she can't keep the only family member she has left. Will actually went to Julia, basically told her that Lake needs to have her brother. She needs to take care of him after she's gone. You know Julia's list that she had for Lake about the 3 things that a man should have. Well, we have another thing that we can add to the list now. Having fun. After Lake does her slam scold, we get Will's reaction and just this precious. In love with? That's what she said. In love with. As in present tense. She loved me. Lake and Cohen loves me. After christening the driveway, see, I said it as an afterthought like I just said now, and it cracked me up to no end. I just reread it in my salesman voice a couple times because I found way too much humor in that, obviously. Gavin and Eddie are getting married, and then, oh my god, Kirsten describing what went on at the honeymoon. That was hilarious. So funny. I missed her. I really did. Oh my god, Julia's letter to Will, and she had made them. She made 8 of them for 4 boys and 4 girls, and she gave them to Kel and told Kel to give them to them when that time came. And she just covered all of her bases, and they named the baby Julia. They named her after her. And I'm gonna cry now. I held it together this whole video. I was so proud of myself. The letters, every time I cry when Lake was giving birth to her daughter. I wish I could explain how I feel, but nothing can explain this moment. Not a vase of stars, not a book, not a song, not even a poem. Nothing can explain the moment when the woman you would give your life for sees her daughter for the very first time. And then he goes on to say, this girl, this baby girl is my life. Her mother is my life. These girls are both my life. I think that was my favorite 2 lines in the book because it's so relevant, and it's not this girl Lake, it's this girl's baby, and it's this girl's, both of them, and just, And then Will's final poem, my final piece. I'm gonna read you a little section from that. But up until today, I realized I had collected all but one piece, the most vital piece, the piece that completes the picture, the piece that completes my whole life. I held this girl in my arms. She wrapped her tiny fingers around mine. It was then I realized she was the fusion, the glue, the cement that bound all the pieces together, the piece that seals my puzzle, the piece that completes my life, the element that makes me who I am, who I was, who I'll one day be. You, baby girl, you're my final piece of the puzzle, and just the tears that I cried then, oh my god. They're the happy tears that I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop the happy tears. This book, I don't even think I talked much about this. I think I mostly quoted it to you guys. I couldn't stop reading, but I forced myself. Are you guys proud of me? I'm pretty proud of myself. I made this last a lot longer than I thought it would, though it was kind of because of my finals and whatnot, and I've been writing a lot lately, woo! But yeah, so I did make it last, which makes me happy, and I want to reread this one so many times. Oh my god, 100 times over. I love this book so much, so much. Let me know your thoughts on this girl, and I want to know your favorite slam out of the whole series. I was talking about that on my Facebook page the other day, and I thought, I want to know what their favorite slams are, because I still don't think I can quite pinpoint mine. I know my final piece is one of my favorites, Schooled is one of my favorites, and this girl. Those are 3, because I can't pin down to like 1. So just let me know which ones are your particular favorites. Oh, and a long poem. That's another one. Oh my gosh, I have so many now. But yeah, favorite lines? Let's give me favorite lines, because I can quote the hell out of this book, like, so much. I cannot form words how much I love this series. I am so attached to Will and Lake's story, and I love the way it ended, the epilogue. Oh my god, this makes me really, really happy. So don't forget to like and subscribe and comment below all the things and your feels. And yeah, bye guys. The flirty wave. Cue the flirty wave. Yeah. Bye. Freaking.